Good, happy Sunday morning, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to Politics with Riley King. Let's begin. First up, Sununu seeks to tie Medicaid reauthorization to alcohol fund. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
Oh, you don't look so hot. Rough night? Ugh. Oh, well, actually, that's the problem. You're on antibiotics. Antibiotics can kill the good bacteria as well as the bad, and that's bad news for your tummy, unless you use Florastor. Unlike many other probiotics, it's naturally resistant to antibiotics and protects the good bacteria in your body. So, take some Florastor. Doctors, well, my orders. Be biotic and drink plenty of fluids.
Governor Chris Sununu made the case Friday for tying the reauthorization of Medicaid expansion to the state's alcohol fund, telling the commissioners who oversee that money this arranged marriage is a political necessity.
I mean, we could put lots of structures over at the legislature. It's just not going. They're just not going to pass. So we need to make sure that whatever we put forward is a path to success.
The alcohol fund provides money for drug treatment and prevention services. Its commissioners are effectively the financial nerve center of the state's efforts to combat the opioid crisis. Using the alcohol fund to help pay for New Hampshire's $30 million annual share of Medicaid expansion allows State House Republicans to fulfill promises of no new taxes and no general fund dollars for the program. But some are worried this arrangement could shortchange the current system, chipping away at the state's epidemic of addiction.
I know there's a lot of concern and a lot of discussion about how we are funding the non-federal share.
HHS Commissioner Jeffrey Myers says current programs will get their money, but he hinted Friday that setting up this Medicaid funding mechanism will be a delicate operation.
We need to manage the budget very carefully. We can't create a hole in the budget for the current fiscal year.
These discussions come in the wake of the collapse, retreat, and financial hardship of at least 3 of the major service providers on the front lines of the opioid crisis.
I think people need to remember that we're still in a crisis, and we never intended or never thought we could get out of this crisis overnight. And I think it's just a reminder that we all need to stay focused on how do we make sure that people can get access to the healthcare services they need.
In Concord, Adam Sexton, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. AGs take fight to court as final clock starts ticking on net neutrality. With the clock now ticking down to the end of the rules known as net neutrality, Massachusetts has joined with more than 20 other states in asking a court to block the change. Trump calls Schiff a bad guy. Democrat memo a nothing. President Donald Trump hit back at top House Intelligence Committee Democrat Adam Schiff in an interview Saturday night, dismissing a Democratic memo on FBI surveillance released earlier in the day as a nothing. Democrats release Radic memo pushing back on GOP claims of DOJ abuse. Let's take a listen to the video from ABC News.
One, two, here we go!
Alive gives you more vitamins and minerals than leading brands. Because when you start with more, you own the morning. Alive.
We begin with the firestorm over that classified memo written by congressional Republicans. President Trump declassifying it, and tonight it's now been made public, despite, quote, grave concerns from the FBI and from the president's own pick for FBI director, Christopher Wray. The president tonight calling the alleged behavior described in the memo, quote, a disgrace. Democrats tonight say it is misleading and an attempt to undermine special counsel Robert Mueller, who of course still wants to interview the president. So what's in the memo? Here's ABC's chief White House correspondent Jonathan Karl tonight.
Before the public even saw the newly declassified Republican memo, President Trump was portraying it as a bombshell.
I think it's terrible. You want to know the truth? I think it's a disgrace. What's going on in this country, I think it's a disgrace. A lot of people should be ashamed of themselves, and much worse than that.
The controversial memo was written by the Republican staff of the House Intelligence Committee, chaired by Devin Nunes, a close Trump ally. The memo focuses entirely on one narrow aspect of the Russia investigation, a warrant to monitor the communications of Carter Page, a former Trump campaign foreign policy advisor. The Obama Justice Department went to a secret intelligence court to apply for the warrant in October 2016. According to the Republican memo, an essential part of the application was the now infamous dossier on Russian meddling and Team Trump, written by former British spy Christopher Steele. The memo claims the judge who approved the warrant was never told the dossier was paid for by the Democratic National Committee and the Clinton campaign, and that the judge never knew that Steele allegedly told a senior justice official that he was desperate that Donald Trump not get elected and was passionate about him not being president. The memo says that former Deputy FBI Director Andrew McCabe told the House Intelligence Committee that no surveillance warrant would have been sought without the Steele dossier information. But Democrats on the committee say that's misleading.
As they have cherry-picked information from the FISA application, they've also cherry-picked information from Mr. McCabe.
Democrat Adam Schiff says McCabe portrayed the dossier as one of many key pieces of information used to get the warrant to monitor Carter Page. As ABC News has previously reported, Page was on the FBI's radar since 2013 because of his suspicious contacts with Russian operatives. In 2016, when the Trump campaign was pressed to list their foreign policy advisors, Page's name was on their short list. But last year, Page's Russia ties came under growing scrutiny, including questions about whether he ever met with the Russian ambassador at the Republican convention.
Did you meet Sergei Kislyak in Cleveland? Did you talk to him? I'm not going to deny that I talked with him.
Page has denied any wrongdoing, but the president has distanced himself.
I don't think I've ever spoken to him. I don't think I've ever met him. And he actually said he was a very low-level member of, I think, a committee for a short period of time. I don't think I ever met him. Now, it's possible that I walked into a room and he was sitting there, but I don't think I ever met him.
The Republican memo released today lists several current and former law enforcement officials involved in applying for the surveillance warrant, including former FBI Director James Comey and Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, the official overseeing Robert Mueller's special counsel investigation into Russian meddling. Several people close to the president tell ABC News Trump has been deeply frustrated with Rosenstein.
You figure that one out.
All right, so let's go live to John Karl at the White House tonight. And John, we just heard President Trump, but tonight the White House insists there are no discussions or considerations of firing Rod Rosenstein.
David, that is the official word here at the White House tonight, but the tension is real. Rosenstein joined with Christopher Wray, the FBI director, in pleading with the White House not to release this Republican memo. And early this morning, the president lashed out at the leadership of the Justice Department and the FBI, tweeting that, quote, they have politicized the sacred investigative process in favor of Democrats. Keep in mind, Those are people who are lifelong Republicans appointed by President Trump.
John Carl leading us off tonight.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for politics with Riley King right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Sunday, and I hope you all have a wonderful week. And I'll see you back here next Sunday for another edition of Politics with Riley King. Goodbye, everyone.